Okay, what's next for everybody from UFC 311? UFC Saudi Arabia next weekend, and then Conor McGregor gets snubbed at the inauguration?
Let's go!
Let's go.
Lost you again, Dave.
Ooh.
Oh, here I am.
It's funny. It's when you like
I know.
panto all three of us, we just disappear, man.
It always happens. We should fix that. It's a thing that's regularly happening, but I don't know. Whatever. We figure it out.
Part of the show, man.
Yeah, it's part of the charm, I think, at this point.
Yep.
I was gonna say you're
Why
giving
stress?
a run. You're giving AJ a run for fucking up. That's not good.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, I guess.
I've been pretty good, man, since like 2025, man. So far, so good, man.
Yeah,
Audio,
but Fred,
timing.
I can't really blame unlike AJ, who does have to kind of handle his own tech on his own side. I don't handle anything over here, so you can't even blame me. It's not me. I don't do.
That's why it's so much, Dave. That's why it's so much easier for me to come there, man.
Yeah,
it's like
I know.
Stress
because
free,
we have
man.
an expert running things smoothly for all of us, which makes everything so nice, so much.
What's up,
nicer.
champ?
Thank you to the,
Hey, what's up, man?
Hi,
Hi, my name is Dave.
I'm Dave. we're here. We're gonna talk about MMA.
Finally,
Sorry we missed
finally,
the show on Saturday. You couldn't make it. We had things. It happened. You know,
We all had COVID.
we all had COVID. That's right. But we're here
Shit's going
tonight,
around, man.
and you know, I want to talk about what Islam Makhachev did. And a lot of people are kind of unimpressed, and I get it. He beat Renato Moicano. He beat him quickly. People are underwhelmed with what happened.
What could he have done more?
I mean, no, he couldn't have done anything, right? He went in there, and I think people wanted to see a fight, and it was just, you know, it was what it was. Islam went in there, fought safe, fought smart, got a win. He's not paid by the hour. He's definitely not paid to take damage. So I think he had a perfect performance. And, you know, life goes on for Islam. It was just kind of a fight that materialized over 24 hours. I mean, last Thursday we were previewing Islam versus Tsarukyan. And on Friday, Tsarukyan's like, oh, my back. Pulls out of the fight, and they get Moicano instead. And it was kind of like, all right. I guess we're still going to see Islam fight, but instead of the number 2, he's fighting the number 10. Big difference.
But props to both of them, man, to carry the fight on, you know? They could have walked away from it as well.
I give more credit to Islam.
I'll agree with AJ. I'll give props to both of them because I read also people complain that Moicano tapped quick, and you know what? Maybe he tapped quick. But I mean, he's caught in that darce. What do you want him? Like, you know, there's nothing left to do. He tapped, man, and he gave his best, man. So props to both guys. And if anything, man, I'm more interested to know what happened with Arman. That to me is the real storyline. Is what happened with Tsarukyan. Like, why did he pull out? I've read different speculations, but I don't know what actually happened.
What? Like what exactly, Freddie? Because I just
I don't know, man. Like I was listening to Chael Sonnen video today, and he was kind of insinuating that maybe Tsarukyan wasn't gonna make weight, and that could be a reason why he got injured in his back. So I don't know. He didn't say it flat out, but he was kind of insinuating that.
But why would you say you know you're not going to make weight? Why would you say why would you pull out of the fight instead?
Because you're not going to get your title shot if you don't make weight. It's not a title fight,
but if you win, you're going to get the title fight anyways. Like
I say, that's just what Chael kind of insinuated it.
Yeah, but
in
it
one
doesn't
of his
really.
videos.
I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that.
I've read other
video.
Did he get injured warming up because he does these crazy warm-ups? I've read all sorts of things. So I would like to know, actually. But if anything, I'll give props to Tsarukyan because I won't give him props. But, I mean, Dana's really pissed at him. He said he's not getting the next title shot. And you know what? Tsarukyan just manned up and said, all right, man, I'll take what, you know, he's not crying about it. He's saying, I'm going to fight whoever I'm going to fight. And I'm going to earn that title shot again. So it's just a weird situation how like 24 hours before the fight, it got canceled and we don't really know exactly what happened. Injury, what's the injury? I don't know. Like I say, I think that's the most intriguing part of the whole story to me.
I was hearing different things that he had like a staph injury or whatnot on his leg. I mean, I don't know if those rumors are correct. He got it not too long ago. Was it Merab as well?
Yeah,
like I heard like something with staph on Tsarukyan as well.
I don't know, but from Dana White's perspective, I think you totally understand him not giving Tsarukyan the next title shot. This is a guy that you promoted to be in the main event against one of your top draws, top champions, Islam Makhachev, and you didn't show up. You pulled out the night before. You can't be depended on to show up when you are really needed by the promotion. And it could be a legit injury, and I think it probably was. But the fact of the matter remains that he is not a big enough draw to merit another title shot. The fans aren't clamoring for another fight with Tsarukyan. Dana White said, Tsarukyan probably doesn't get the next shot, and the fans went, okay, fine. No one's going nuts because Tsarukyan's not drawing the people in, and he didn't show up. Like, it's really hard to depend on him to give him the next title shot, to book another pay-per-view, to promote it, when the guy pulled out 24 hours before.
But you see, Chael was talking about that, and he's like, he was saying that if it was a legit injury, the UFC would not be holding a grudge against him. Like, if it's a legit, like, the UFC is not about, like, putting guys that cannot fight. Like, maybe there's a disagreement on whether he could have took the fight or not. That's another issue. But if he's legit injured, the UFC would comprehend that situation. And also is who's getting the next title shot? It's not as if, like, there's a lot of other contenders right now to put in front of Islam. So for the UFC to take it away from him, they feel like there's something, maybe he could have fought, in their opinion. I don't know. But to me, there has to be something there that breaks that bond there. Because if it's a legit injury, I'm sure the UFC would have understood.
Yeah, but you know what, Freddie? Leading up to that fight, sorry, Dave, but leading up to that fight, I mean, you if you have like an injury that's gonna be a detriment to the card, I mean, you would know like way in advance. There's something leading up to it, a week or what. You know that you're injured, and like it's like you start talking to Dana, look, things won't happen. But then like 24 hours before, I mean, you could have completely ruined that whole card. That card could have been cut in half, literally. So, I'm happy that Moicano got his full show money. He deserves it. Win or lose, man, the guy's like, I think he has balls bigger than anybody. And the same thing for Islam. But what I'm trying to say is, coming into this fight, Tsarukyan looked amazing. He looked in amazing, sick, like, shape. This guy was like built better than George St. Pierre in the days. So what was this injury? I mean, I heard staph, but was that enough to back out of a fight?
I don't think the injury, whatever it was, is important at this point, because the fact he didn't fight, he didn't show up. Whether it was legit or not, people are questioning it. I don't think it really matters, and I think the UFC. And Fred, I think you're giving them a lot of credit by saying if it was a legit injury, they wouldn't hold it against him and this and that. They might, They might hold it against him because he still didn't show up, and a lot of fighters show up hurt and injured, and they still fight, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I say that maybe there's a disagreement where Tsarukyan felt he couldn't fight and the UFC felt he could fight. So, I'm not saying like... I'm just saying if it's a really legit injury that both parties would have agreed that the fight cannot happen, well, the UFC would not hold that against him. So I think that's where probably there's a disagreement.
Maybe. But I also think that it's less about Tsarukyan and the injury and the legitimacy of it, and more about Islam and the options that are currently available compared to when they booked the Tsarukyan-Islam fight. I think that there are bigger fights right now for Islam Makhachev than Arman Tsarukyan, and bigger money fights that the UFC is more interested in putting together, and more dependable fights, quite frankly. So I think there's a possibility of a big fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev for the belt in Spain.
Yeah, that could be.
I mean, they could go to Spain, do an arena like they could do something massive over there with Topuria, Makhachev. They could do that fight really anywhere in the world, but they're talking about a big fight for Topuria in Spain, and that would be as big as you could possibly get. And I think that fight right there is way more interesting to the fans currently than Tsarukyan is.
Yeah, good
and
point.
I think that's on the table right now. I mean, Topuria has been talking about it a lot, and he's looking great. And this is a guy who beat Holloway and Volkanovski, kind of cleaned out the top of the 145 division in 2024. What is there left for him to do in 2025? Who does he fight at 145? I think he fights Islam Makhachev. Like, I think that's the fight, and I think that's why Dana's kind of like, Tsarukyan, whatever, because there's Islam fighting the 145 champion at 155, with Topuria undefeated, smashing everybody, looking amazing. And there's, I think, also the possibility of Islam moving up to fight at 170, to fight either Bilal or Shavkat or whoever comes out the winner when those two guys eventually fight. So I just feel like Tsarukyan had the opportunity. He was supposed to fight him last Saturday. He didn't show up, and now, he might fight for the 155 belt one day. It might be against Islam. It might not. But I think he's going to have to fight again, and then he'll get a title shot, maybe, depending on, who's where and what the situation is. Topuria's good, man. You never know.
Yeah.
Him and Islam.
That makes sense.
Topuria and Islam, that's a fight, man. People would get pretty hyped for that.
It's a double champ status as well. So that could really pump up. I agree with you.
And Topuria's looking incredible. You know what I mean? Like, Topuria is good.
Look, I'm going to give you a choice, Dave.
I feel like he's small to face Islam, but yeah, they could sell that fight for sure.
But Dave, Fred, listen to this. You got a choice right now. It's either doing like Topuria, double champ status, going into Spain where the crowd is going to be insane. It's going to bring up a lot of new fans out in Europe. Or you still have another option. You only got Charles Oliveira. That's all you have in front of you. Or eventually you're going to have to make the Tsarukyan fight. But the real money fight for 2025, if it does happen, is exactly what you said, Dave. I agree with you, man. That would be insane.
Yeah. You know how much they could charge for tickets for that fight?
Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah, that's insane.
Just tickets. It'd be crazy, man. They would make they would do $100 million gate on 14,000 people. You know what I mean? It'd be nuts. They would make so much money.
Well, depending where they are in Spain, Dave, some of those places that they were talking about, Fred, if I'm not mistaken,
there's money.
Going to what? The spectator seating is what? 70, 80,000?
Oh, yeah, that too. They could do a soccer stadium, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could make a ton of money
and
going to Spain, doing Topuria and Makhachev. I just feel like Tsarukyan missed his chance, and he's going to have to kind of catch the next stop. He missed his bus. He's going to have to wait for the next one,
Yeah, and you never know if the bus will ever come back.
That's
depending.
true.
We've seen that with Tony Ferguson, right? Things just went south for him, and they never got any better. He missed the bus 3 times, and literally it took his whole career. It's a shame, but you're right. Tsarukyan could be that guy. He could be the guy who missed the bus, and even if it's a legitimate reason not to fight, it killed his chances, man.
I like that.
This is a business in the end.
That's a good one.
I like that.
He missed the Tony bus. Ferguson missed the bus so many times he had to take the night bus. It was bad.
He had to take a skateboard, man.
I agree that Topuria fight would make sense, and I agree. It's probably more of a money fight. But I keep on saying I'm sure there's some type of issue with Tsarukyan and Dana, because also right now we're going into Ramadan, so Islam is probably not fighting before September, October at the earliest, I would say.
Yep.
And so why right now in January put out there that, oh no, Tsarukyan's not getting the title shot. So Dana's mad. When Dana is like that, man, he's mad. So I keep on saying there's something there.
Yeah. Man, it's tough. Ramadan, really puts a damper in the UFC's plans because half their champions are just time out. You know what I mean? You got Islam Makhachev, you got Bilal Muhammad,
Shavkat,
but he's a challenger for Bilal, so it kind of cancels out, I guess. I think that's it right now, but that's 2 champions that kind of are on timeout for a good chunk of the, Good chunk of the
Why
year.
they
now.
need the BMF titles.
Yeah, that's it.
True. You're right, Fred.
Oliveira wants to fight Holloway for a BMF title since Islam's probably not fighting for a couple of months.
Okay. Well, Oliveira's not getting a fight against Islam.
Well, he feels he should be getting it, but that's a whole other story. Because once they said Tsarukyan's not getting it, Oliveira feels that he's the number one contender in the division.
Okay. If it's not Tsarukyan, it's Oliveira, he's thinking. But do
Well,
we need
in
to see
his
that
mind.
again? I think I'm good.
You don't have
That's
much
why
choice,
I say
dude.
Topuria would make sense, but other than Topuria, Tsarukyan is probably the most
Yeah.
legit contender in that division. But I do like the idea of Islam going up in weight. But with that said, man, people always call Islam a weight bully and things like that. Well, on fight night, Moicano was the heavier of the two. Like they put out the fight night weights, and Islam, he's a big welterweight, but I think he's still a welterweight. I'd like to see him at 185. I'm not sure. I think his frame is good at 170. That's his.
Wait,
his
who,
shit.
Islam?
Yeah.
He's 155.
155. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'd
I know
like
what
to
you mean.
see him maybe go at 170 against Bilal,
Yeah.
but I feel he's more made for 150.
Wouldn't you pick him to beat Bilal?
I don't know, man. Bilal's solid, man.
Islam's
Bilal's
though.
been solid recently.
Islam seems unstoppable.
Yeah.
Bilal's been beat. I don't know. Okay. Well, what's next for Merab? He looked good. He beat Umar. That was a tough challenge.
Great.
Very impressive. Great fight
My
for
favorite
Merab
stat-
Dvalishvili.
My favorite stat of that fight is 30 takedown attempts, but only completed 7. But that tells me like the guy went into the fight with a game plan, and Umar was stuffing those takedowns early, and Merab just kept on going. And I say that often. It's not like often if a wrestler doesn't get his takedowns early, he'll resort to become a boxer. But Merab just stuck to the game plan, showed incredible cardio, pace, etc. And a very impressive fight by Merab.
Yeah, but you got to give some credit to Umar as well. You know, like you have this young
Why?
kid. I thought he did pretty. I thought he did pretty well, Fred. I thought he did pretty well. He was not submitted. He wasn't knocked out. There was no TKO. It had to go to,
participation
5
trophy.
rounds.
That's what you're giving Umar.
Listen, no, I'm giving a participation.
It's not very MAGA of
trophy
you.
Yeah,
because
but he was the
it is.
undefeated favorite and he lost, so I don't know. It's
Yeah,
hard to
he
give him
did.
credit after that.
Look, I'm gonna give him credit just for the fact that he was young, probably pushed in a little bit too quick.
Come on. man.
Probably didn't get that like championship experience to be there, but yet he was impressive. Impressive enough for me to say that this kid will eventually take that throne in the next couple of years. It won't happen right now. I predict in 2 years, Umar will be champion. Look, Merab got the best of him. Experience obviously showed, but there were a couple of times in that fight where I was like, Merab doesn't look too good. Umar was like right on his heels.
Yeah.
I got to give a lot of credit to this guy coming in to fight a guy like Merab. I thought he did pretty well. He brought him to the distance. Anything could have happened. He was gassed a little bit more than I expected.
It was a tough fight, man.
I heard Khabib in the corner, like telling him like, he was shooting out like commands, this and that. And he, look, if the facts are right and Umar's hand was broken in the first round and he was able, and I'm going to be honest, every time I saw an opportunity for a guillotine, I'm like, why isn't Umar going for it? I just couldn't figure it out. And it made sense at the end when I really saw his broken hand. When you got that guillotine and you got to get that lock in to really control that lock and turn that guillotine for the choke, he couldn't do it. He couldn't put pressure on his hand. That little finger was gone. So the whole side of his hand was gone. You got to give a lot of props to this guy that was able to go 5 rounds, man, with a broken hand. Mm-hmm. And it made all sense. He didn't have all his artillery there. If this kid is going to be Freddie, he had a broken hand.
So emotional.
It's fuck.
So here's the thing, though, AJ, that I think you are right about is that in a couple years, it's different because Umar is 29 and Merab is 34. So when Merab is 36 and Umar is 31, it's a totally different fight. And yeah,
More experience.
Okay, so
no
in
injuries.
2 years, we'll see. We'll see where they're at in 2 years. We'll see if Merab holds on to the belt in 2 years. I think he's going to hold on to the belt for at least another fight because they're talking about giving him Sean O'Malley again, which seemed pretty easy for him the last time. I can't imagine it'll be different the next time.
O'Malley's look when they put the camera on him was like, I don't want nothing to do with this.
Please turn the camera, man. You know,
well,
look, a squirrel. You know, like,
I mean, what's he gonna do?
You look like can't do much, dude. You're going into a slaughterhouse.
Like, if it wasn't for the broken hand,
if they offer you the fight, if you're Sean O'Malley, they offer you the fight. What do? Say no?
Yeah, you gotta take it
for the.
But I was gonna say if it wasn't for the broken hand, I would agree that I would give almost Umar a rematch right now. I think he's a more compelling fight. I think Merab right now is the king of the division, though, man. We gotta give him his props. And like I've said before, he's a fun guy, man. He's a funny guy. He's a character. He is a little like I don't know if it's arrogant or lackadaisical or whatever. Like sometimes he has these moments where he doesn't take the fight seriously, and he wants to showboat, and that's gonna end up catching him, man. I'll just put the name of one of the greatest, Anderson Silva, man. He started showboating against Chris Weidman, and he ended up getting knocked out, man. So if you're Merab, man, stay focused, man. Stop with the showboating. Stop like putting your hands up with like 7 seconds left to the round, because you only need one good shot to get knocked out, man. So
and
that's the only thing I would say with
Merab. We were watching the fight, and you were mentioning that you were like, "This guy's showboating too much." And I said as well, you could showboat. Like he was in the position to know that he was on his way to victory. But you're right, Anderson Silva got clipped. So
only
many
takes
other fighters got clipped. It takes that one shot.
It worked for so long for Anderson.
It did, but it takes
Until
that one
did.
day, and then your career is done, right? Merab's career, like, it could have disappeared. But look, he was looking good. But let's be honest, he's fighting a guy that had one hand. You know what I'm saying? One hand. So would he have been able to do that if Umar was a little bit healthier at that point? Not a little bit, like completely healthy.
But
I don't know.
I think I read like Merab. He said like in his O'Malley fight, he broke his hand and he still won, man. So let's stop with this one hand things, man. Injuries happen.
Yeah, people win with broken things. It happens.
They do, but I mean, you could still jab away and you can still
stop
kick
making
away,
excuses, Tito Ortiz. Chill out over there, buddy. Relax.
Listen, man.
Tito Ortiz, AJ over there. Excuses all day.
Tito!
What's up, Angelo?
Tito,
Angelo in the chat, one of the members of the team over at joined.ringsidereport.net. Thank you for joining us.
Jackson 5
tonight, Angelo, on YouTube, on Twitch, on the things. We're on Rumble. We're on
Kick. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on like so many different podcasts. You name it, we're on it.
We're everywhere, brother. Okay, how about just one more note on the bantamweight guys. How about giving Merab a break and making Umar fight O'Malley instead, and then the winner gets to fight Merab again? That seems the fair thing to do right now. Why does Merab have to keep fighting the number?
But
like, it seems like O'Malley's just chilling, waiting. He loses to Merab, then he relaxes and fights Merab again after Merab has to fight Umar, and then Umar just chills for a while Merab fights O'Malley, and then he gets to fight Merab again. Like, it seems like it's backwards with the way. Like, shouldn't the number one contenders fight each other to determine who fights the champion, not the other way around, where the champion just keeps fighting 2 and 3 over and over again?
Well, that's
I agree,
you
but
put O'Malley with Peter Yan. That's what I think would go.
Oh, him too.
Much better.
Yeah.
Right? You make those
I was
guys
gonna say if a lot of these champions are gonna be off in the upcoming months, if Merab is available, the UFC is gonna use him because
that's true.
They got main events to fill. So
but look, Freddie.
That is true.
Freddie, you get Umar, you build him up again because you know that this guy is one of the hottest guys still there, regardless of his loss. He's still going to be up there. He has to recover from that hand injury.
Merab,
put him up.
Do Merab, Peter Yan, or no? Merab has a win over Peter Yan. Huh?
Yeah, on both of them. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who, but you put Charles Oliveira against Peter Yan. Let them fight. You get Umar to fight Figueiredo, and then you build up
Charles
that
Oliveira
whole thing.
against Peter Yan?
Yeah.
Peter Yan is a 135er and Oliveira is 155. What are we talking about? Are you confused, AJ? What happened? Do you just glitch out?
You see?
No.
Okay. Let me go with my crazy thought here. Okay, you say like Topuria go up to face Makhachev.
Yeah.
I think I would prefer seeing Merab against Topuria than seeing Topuria against Makhachev. You're gonna do a champion versus champion. Merab versus Topuria sounds great.
It's not bad. I don't hate either fight. I feel like MMA fans might be more excited about Islam and Topuria. I think Islam is if Topuria is going to do like a super fight, I think Islam is a bigger name than Merab. Merab was a co-main. Islam was the main event this weekend.
Dave, I'm just telling you, just like on like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook for that matter, it's been all Merab, man. It's been like so many things about Merab lately because
hopefully
that
they
show probably helped them.
Mm-hmm.
They
How about Yuri?
Did, man.
Yuri smashed again, knocked out Jamal Hill. Yuri's in this weird spot where he seems like the number 2 guy at light heavyweight, but he can't beat that number 1 guy, who's Alex Pereira. He's had a couple of shots at it, hasn't gone his way, and he's just in this weird position where he's beaten Jamal Hill, who was the other top guy in the division. He's beaten Rakic. He's kind of beaten them all. And the only thing that's left is to fight Pereira again, but he hasn't fought Magomed. But Magomed is going to be fighting Pereira at UFC 313. That's official. That's in March. That's very good news. That is the fight. Yeah. But Yuri may fight the winner, possibly, because Yuri is still up there at 205. And taking out Jamal Hill kind of keeps him right there in line for a title shot. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Look who you have ahead of you, man.
The thing is, like, he's fought Pereira before, so, and it didn't go well for him twice. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's far from a title shot, but again, I'll go back to the weigh-ins of the fight night. He was only weighing 208 on fight night, man. He only put on like 3 pounds. He's only like 3 pounds over the 205 limit. I'm wondering if he could go down to 185 sometimes and maybe make a name for himself there. If Yuri could, because he looked great against Jamal. I expected Jamal to be the better technical striker, but Yuri fucking carved him. Like he was connecting, he was moving well and all. It was a beautiful fight by Yuri. So at 205, he's a little bit in a position, unless Ankalaev wins, maybe he gets a shot to Ankalaev, but I don't know. Consider 185 maybe.
Listen, man, they got some pretty good payouts regardless, man. And that's the good thing about this whole card, man. If you look at the payout for like Yuri fighting a guy like Jamal Hill, who really took it bad. I don't know if you saw some of the videos of Jamal Hill. Man, this guy took that fight serious. I love athletes, man, that, look, I like to see them win, but when they lose, man, you could see the heart. But regardless, he got a heavy pocket out of it. I mean, Jamal Hill got like $200,000 for that fight. Yuri Prochazka got $250,000 plus a $50,000 winning bonus. Now we're talking. You know, I'm saying, there's some good coin coming in. I don't know if they got any pay-per-view points, but, at least I forgot how much, what's his name got. I think, let me just quickly check there.
What? What are you checking?
Moicano got $250,000, man.
So what's next for
fight.
Yuri?
Like,
Yuri, I think Johnny in the chat says Yuri hoping Alex loses. I think that's the play for Yuri. He's really hoping that Pereira does lose, and then, him and Magomed would make a lot of sense for the belt. If not, I think Yuri and Jan Blachowicz would be a fight, but, Jan's been hurt for a while, but he's aging and everything. He's still ranked in the top 5 of the division. Former champion, hasn't fought Yuri yet. Seems like a fight.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah, that could be
Yuri
a good fight.
and Jan. Jan is ranked number 3 right now in the UFC's rankings. He gained a spot because Jamal Hill dropped by losing. Jan Blachowicz inactive for like a long-ass time. When is the last time we saw Jan Blachowicz fight? former champion. He is 41. He's been hurt for a while. He lost to Pereira, a split decision. Like, he went 3 rounds with Pereira back in July 2023. But I've heard he's going to come back. He's just been hurt for a while. Blachowicz and Yuri could make sense considering the rankings, but I feel like 41-year-old Blachowicz coming off a year-long plus a couple years maybe inactivity, fighting Yuri Prohaska is not a good idea. But, I mean, it might happen.
God, man.
It might happen. Oh, Carlos Ulberg,
man.
That's an interesting fight, too, that Johnny there on the chat is suggesting. That's not bad.
No, Johnny's right, man. We didn't do a watch-along, Johnny. You're right, man.
Ulberg is
missed the opening of the
riding
show.
high.
I mean, Khalil Roundtree had a good fight against Pereira, so maybe he could be in the mix for a decent fight. Who knows?
I mean, there's options there, but Yuri he seems to be at the top.
I'd like
reminds
him
me
to
of
consider
Dos Santos during the Cain Velasquez era. You know, he was beating everybody at heavyweight but Cain, and he would win a bunch of fights, and he kind of like Yuri's fighting style kind of reminds me of JDS. Just like the way he knocks people out with these crazy punches, and the knockouts are just so spectacular. The power is similar. The style is a little bit like JDS was a little wild, you know? He had kind of a wild style. Like, remember when he knocked out Cain in like 50 seconds? Dos Santos was something. And Yuri kind of reminds me of him. And he's in like a similar position in the light heavyweight division where he's that like number 2 guy that can't beat the number 1. And he's never done it. At least JDS got that one on Cain. And then Cain made him pay for it, I think. Made him pay for it pretty dearly. Have you ever seen a guy get the shit kicked out of him worse than Cain Velasquez beating up Junior Dos Santos? 2 fights. He just killed that guy. Just beat the hell out of him. In 2 fights, back to like the 2 fights that they had afterwards. They fought 3 times total, and the last 2 were just awful for Dos Santos. Cain just beat the hell out of him. That was peak Cain Velasquez. Best heavyweight I've ever seen in the UFC.
Free Cain.
The best.
Is he out now? He's out, right?
He's supposed to coach a GFL team. Do you know about this? GFL? It's like a new fighting league they're trying to start up, and they have like different cities being represented and teams and coaches. They're supposed to do a draft, I think, maybe tomorrow. When they do the draft and there's more info on the league, we'll talk about it more. But it's like
MMA
a new
or jiu-jitsu?
MMA league with like veterans. It's going to be all like names. It's not going to be guys that are current. It's going to be kind of names from the past fighting each other.
Like
an old
Bellator
man,
in the beginning?
Like a Masters League of MMA.
Well, that could be interesting.
It could be interesting. It could be some pretty bad fights, but it could be fun to watch for us. You know?
Yeah, if you get some names like Belfort coming in and whatnot.
Yeah, it's going to be stuff like that. Kind of old-time names from the past fighting again. Luke Rockhold will probably fight AJ. You'll be excited again, you know?
I will, man.
All sorts of people like that. The GFL is coming. Have you seen Dark Side of the Cage? You know about this?
It's I heard about it.
Fred, you know Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah.
But they did one
I
for
heard
MMA.
It's coming out. Okay.
I saw
how many episodes out?
I saw the first 2. They did one on Kimbo and one on Diego Sanchez. The Kimbo one is like, it's Dark Side because he died. But like everything else with Kimbo, like the life was kind of like a nice success story and just the rise of Kimbo Slice. It's kind of a nice little documentary on Kimbo. So that was fun. Apparently. And then the Diego Sanchez thing is just about how his career spiraled out of control and he drank too much after the BJ Penn fight and he was just all messed up. And then that trainer messed with his mind. Yeah. And there's a lot about that guy, Fabia, who was just messing with Diego Sanchez. And there's just, Diego is... I think the most striking thing about the Diego Sanchez documentary was a brief moment where they talked to Nick Diaz, and it's like current Nick Diaz, and he looks terrible. Like, Nick Diaz can never fight again. Like, no, I'm not
That's
even
bad,
like,
man.
dude.
That's bad.
I gotta send you the clip. Like, you've got to watch the Diego Sanchez thing just to see the 5 seconds of Nick Diaz. It's like, oh,
Can you put it up?
I mean,
Can you find it? I'd love to see it. I mean, I'm curious, man. I'm sure everybody wants to see it too, Dave. But what are you trying to say? Is it from like you're trying to say is that too much head trauma is catching up?
It might be that. It seems like years of drug use almost, but maybe I don't know what it.
Freddie's going for the cocaine candy, man.
I mean, yeah.
I just had an itch. Had an itch.
He looked skinny. He looked like a shell of his former self, and his voice was just not there. Like
Sad.
It was really bad. He looked really bad. Really bad. Diego doesn't look great either these days, I mean, it's the thing, man. We're starting to see these guys that we saw fight in MMA, and now they're older, and so it's interesting to see because the UFC is never going to show you that. So the dark side of the cage is like.
Where can you find this?
It's on Crave. I have it on Crave.
Really? I'm gonna check it out, man.
I'll find it, AJ.
Yeah, Fred will find it somewhere, and he'll send you a thing.
Yeah, I'm curious. We should talk about.
I think it's on
an
YouTube
episode.
too.
Let's watch
I think people have uploaded it to YouTube. But
listen, man.
The Nick Diaz, man, I was like, oh fuck, Nick Diaz. I know the UFC was talking about having him fight.
They should do an episode on Nick.
Yeah, I think they need to, or they will. I mean, I don't know who is on the rest of the season. I think I could probably.
That's pretty sad, man. Like, honestly.
Oh, it's bad. Dark side of the cage. Let's see. I'm trying to find.
How do they make their money, man?
Episodes. Diego Sanchez. The next one is about the final days of Evan Tanner, who went to the desert and passed away. I don't know who else they're doing shows on exactly. Let's see, maybe. But it's worth checking out if you're an MMA fan. I was I liked it. I liked that dark side of the ring. It was interesting. Wasn't perfect, but dark side of the cage.
Is it the same producers
Dark Side
as
of the NFL also? They got a couple of them now.
Yeah, I think they had Dark Side of the 90s too. Like they had,
yeah.
They had Dark Side of everything. They did Dark Side of the Ring, and they're like, "Oh, this works. Let's do more of these." So it started. But I don't know who exactly they're talking about. I don't know. They're supposed to interview GSP on this thing. Speaking of GSP, guys, he was at the inaugural ball. Was he at the actual inauguration? GSP?
Yeah.
Right.
No clue.
Yeah.
I think so.
It looked like it. He was there. I mean, he was all dressed up, man. He was ready to go.
George St. Pierre was there.
But it makes you wonder, how did he get invited? He's from Quebec.
All the MMA fighters were there. But GSP was very crafty on his Instagram. So I'm going to show you some Instagram pictures now, guys. There's our boy, GSP, George St. Pierre, there in Washington, D.C.
Georgie, look at him. Dang, dang.
With John Jones and Gordon Ryan. John Jones in the middle and Gordon Ryan on the end in the cowboy hat. Gordon Ryan, the best no-gi jiu-jitsu guy in the world and possibly of all time, if you don't know. John Jones, the greatest MMA fighter of all time. And George St. Pierre, also the greatest MMA fighter of all time, right? I mean, it's a debate. It's a solid debate. So George St. Pierre, the caption for him, riding with the GOAT fighter and the GOAT grappler in D.C. So I find it interesting. This is George St. Pierre's official Instagram, that this is the only picture he posts, and he's in D.C. He doesn't say inauguration. He doesn't say president. He doesn't say why he's in D.C. He's very crafty about not leaning one way or the other politically, which for the brand, is pretty smart. You don't want to necessarily go one way or the other because people are going to feel one way or the other, right? AJ, you can agree with that. It's okay.
Yeah, I could.
Well, don't you think, like, if you take a side, some people are not going to like you and then not buy the things that you're in?
No, but that's normal, man. That's
it's
just
easier
like
to be neutral.
People
so
that
George
like you,
staying
that
neutral on his Instagram,
well,
even though
there
he
in
is
a
clearly
tux,
there.
Dave. I don't know if he's so neutral.
Well, no, he's there, but on his Instagram, I'm saying the branding is very, it's neutral considering what we're seeing on other people's Instagrams that were there.
He's saying
Trump
he's in
DC, but he's not saying for what. It's vague. Okay?
Well,
that's all I'm telling you. I'm not making a statement one way or the other. God damn.
Like I said, he's a closet Trump supporter, guaranteed. That's why he's there.
Well, no
Which
shit.
I'm kind of surprised. I didn't realize that he was like so involved in American politics.
You think if he doesn't support the guy, he wouldn't show up? Obviously,
but I was surprised because I never had. Yeah, but I've never had like a clue or some rumor that's been sent to me that he was like following American politics.
Oh, well.
I'm kind of surprised. More than anything, I was like, what the hell's George doing there? Georgie?
I'm not totally surprised.
Did he miss
whatever,
the Cabana
considering who else was there. So here is John Jones' official Instagram, which the caption for his photo set from the night is totally different. He doesn't just say with the GOAT, whatever. He goes, it was truly an honor to welcome and celebrate the 47th president. Da, da, da. Like he's talking about it in detail, right? And here he is with Paul brothers, Jake and Logan Paul at the thing. Here he is with Miss USA. Here he is with George St. Pierre and Gordon Ryan. Like John Jones is posting a bunch of pictures. Here he is with Bo Nickel, who also happened to be there for some reason. Here he is with a man in a cowboy hat. I'm not sure who this is. Anybody?
A man in a cowboy hat.
No?
He looks kind of familiar.
Here he is with this lady. I have no idea who that is. Here he is with this fellow. I don't know who he is either. Here he is with Tim Kennedy and Gordon Ryan and GSP in front of like a president of the United States seal, which George never posts on his Instagram. Okay? That's all I'm saying. He's a little more like crafty with it than John Jones. John Jones what I think? Here's John Jones with his fiance of like 20 years, who's been his fiance for 20 years. And
God bless her.
Does he have his hand on her butt?
Look.
Yeah, God
look
bless
at that jiu-jitsu master. Look at his hand there, right on there. He's cupping it.
Here he is with Mark
Zuckerberg. Handsome jiu-jitsu guy. The new jiu-jitsu master, man.
Here he is again with Mark Zuckerberg. Here he is with, I think that's an actor.
No, it's a politician. Pete Hegseth.
Okay, I don't know.
That looks like Connor right there.
That's a politician there? That's Connor.
Yeah,
that's not Connor. That's this man here. That's not Connor.
Yeah, that's Pete Hegseth. Yeah, he's a politician.
Hegseth?
Yeah.
Not
this
sure
man's
if
got a
that's
nice hat over
pronounced.
here. I don't know. Can we see this man with the Virginia hat? What is this? He's very proud of Virginia. Who is this guy, and why is he so close to John Jones? He seems dangerous.
I see a guy from the Shriners in the back.
I don't trust this guy's hat. Yeah, what's this? What's with all the hats? This guy's got a weird hat on, too. Seems like they might not have very good intentions with our friend John Jones over here with his nice little tattoo.
Look at his little tat there he has.
Yeah. So there's John Jones and his fancy night at the inauguration. So John Jones is there. And notice we see pictures of John Jones with George St. Pierre, with Logan Paul, with Jake Paul, with all the boys, Tim Kennedy even, but never Conor McGregor. But Conor McGregor apparently was there. Although,
good point.
Was he? Now, let me find where Conor is. Here is Conor on his way to the thing.
He's smiling?
Smiling, holding the Paul brothers' mother, the Paul mother. And
look at Jake. He doesn't look too happy.
Really alert. And
concerned.
Logan.
He looks concerned.
Yes.
They look a
So
little
there
concerned.
they
It's
are
like, Mom,
on their
don't do
way
it,
to
Mom.
the inauguration, but you never actually see them inside. There's no presidential seal here behind Conor.
Mhm.
You don't see Conor
yeah.
with GSP at any point, or with, you know, John
Hey, there's
Jones or
nothing-
Gordon Ryan. You never see him with
Doing
them.
some
Now,
good
of course,
CSI, Dave.
Conor wouldn't fit in with Gordon Ryan or John Jones or George St. Pierre because Conor is not in the greatest of all time discussion in his sport like GSP and John Jones. He probably feels inferior in a room with those guys, and he would rather avoid the situation. Like, oh, I sold a lot of pay-per-views. Yeah, well, so did I, and I also defended my championship like a million times. So get out of here, buddy. You know, John Jones and GSP could both say that. They could both say that to Conor.
Look at
So
Jake,
this is
man. I
Jake
keep looking
Paul.
at his eyes.
So, no,
he looks
this is, sorry,
concerned,
this is,
man.
this is Jake Paul's Instagram. So he's posting this on the way. But then he does his inauguration photo dump. Okay.
Ringside.
Okay. 'Twas a great night at the ball. So he's saying he was at the ball, obviously. And
There's Joe
here is Jake Paul here, right? AJ, can you identify the other men in this picture?
Yeah, that guy there. I see Joe Rogan, and then that's
Joe
what's his
Rogan.
name there. Joe Rogan. I look
Logan
at that
Paul.
guy. Logan Paul.
Here
Jake
we go.
Paul.
This is Theo
Theo
Vaughn
Vaughn.
over here.
Theo Vaughn. Yeah, Theo Vaughn. Yeah,
And
he
this
looks
is
like the guy
up
from
here.
like. He looks like
Up
the
here,
guy from
this
like.
is Tony Hinchcliffe, the man who almost cost
Goldfinger.
Trump the election with that Puerto Rico joke. That was a close one there, Tony, but he was all right. It worked out
Yeah,
in the
he's
end,
funny,
so he
man.
gets an invite.
Who's that guy in the back there? Is that him you're talking about?
I don't know who this fellow
He's a
is.
waiter.
This
waiter, man.
man
He's
here,
just-
I don't know him.
You know, photobombed him.
But I know Tony Hinchcliffe. Remember he did that joke about Puerto Rico and everybody got super mad?
Yeah.
Apparently, if they lost, they were going to blame Tony Hinchcliffe. So good thing
Yeah,
they
he was
won.
funny,
Otherwise,
though.
Tony would have been in big trouble.
I mean, it
those
was a
guys.
pretty big landslide, so.
Yeah, so it really didn't
Yeah.
mean anything. So here
Yeah.
he is there
You're good,
at the
good
thing
point,
with
Freddie.
the Pauls.
Good point.
And here is Jake Paul looking handsome. So picture of that.
Wow,
we
look
need to
at
get that, right?
He's a handsome
Here
dude.
he is putting Mike Tyson
Wow,
up
who
on
the
his
hell is
shoulders
that?
because they're all friends now after they made money and they had a bad fight. And here's Evander Holyfield because he's friends with Mike now, even though Mike bit his ear. It's fine. It's all
Hey,
fine.
where are you getting, Dave? This is looking like I can see where you're going here. I don't see, like, you know, where's Waldo? Where is
Oh.
Waldo? Where is Connor?
Yeah, there's no Connor. I thought you thought that this was about to turn into a Diddy party because that's kind of what it looks like too.
At a Diddy party. A lot
I
of
mean,
like
Mike Tyson's penis is on Jake Paul's head right there. That's as close to a Diddy party as you're gonna get at the White House, baby. Or
That's
probably
funny,
not. Actually,
actually.
it gets probably way closer. What am I
Yeah,
saying?
I think I
It's
think
been
the
there.
Obama years had a
Bill
couple
Clinton?
of Diddy parties.
Bill Clinton was having parties, baby. We know about that. It was under oath. Anyways, there they
Clinton.
are, looking
Yeah.
handsome again. Ooh,
collector of cigars.
there they are,
Whoa,
taking
whoa.
pictures with John Jones. John Jones. There's no Connor
looking
on the
handsome.
photo bomb. There's just
Who's this
stuff.
guy?
There's a lady. I think it might be their mom. There they are, pointing
Yeah.
a banana at each other. So
That's a bit. Oh, I get it. Yeah, yeah.
Secret Service.
You know, are you happy to see me, or is like you got a banana in your pocket?
So I've not seen any photos of Connor.
Connor, I got a theory. Freddie might appreciate that. There was
Yeah,
a
he's
lot
in
of
the
like talk
bathroom.
about like. No, that's what I was gonna say, Freddie. That's what I was gonna say. There was a lot of lost cocaine in the White House
Another
at one
inch.
point that they couldn't
Wow.
trace
Oh
who it
yeah,
belonged
yeah,
to. Maybe Connor, you know what I'm saying, Fred?
Wow.
So maybe
he was
He's trying to
Connor
find
looking
a-
for it.
looking for that pot of
He-
gold.
He's like, maybe Hunter's still here, man.
There
you know,
we
his
go.
dad, his
There
dad's
we go. I knew that
senile.
was
He
coming.
might just show up
Yeah.
on the next day, even though he's not working, and maybe
Yeah.
Hunter just follows him. You know.
You know what, Freddie? Good point. I have a feeling Hunter was probably there, man, hiding. Gotta get my shit out of here.
Couldn't he have just asked John Jones?
True. Good point, Dave. Good point. Good
Sorry.
point. But it's
But-
probably not as good as like, you know, Hunter stuff. Hunter had some pretty good
Probably
shit,
not.
man.
Probably
Apparently.
not. Although John Jones,
That's like, you know, that's allegedly. you know?
allegedly, is it allegedly at this point? I
Well,
have
they
no
couldn't
idea.
pinpoint it's his, man. It's just like
I think it's fine. He's
you know-
been pardoned, so it's fine. Even if it is
Yeah.
alleged, like it can't
True,
stick
good
to him.
point.
He's been pardoned.
Preemptive
could've been
pardon. Can we
pardoned.
get that, man? I want one of them.
yeah, I want to be pardoned too, man.
I would like
wanna
to be
pardoned, man.
preemptively pardoned for like a bunch of let's say 10 crimes, any size. You know what
like
I mean?
Like the Purge?
Yeah. But just me.
Don't be jaywalking. Don't waste it on that.
No, you have to catch me. Like, it's like, oh, okay, you got me. And then I give you the card, and it's like, get out of jail free, baby. I don't have to do
Diddy
time
would have
on this
needed one of those. Hey, dude, P. Diddy would have needed one of those cards.
You just killed 20 people. Well, sorry about that, guys. Here's a card. That's one.
Wasn't that in Lethal Weapon when the guy says, I've got, like, diplomatic immunity?
Yeah, diplomatic immunity. That sounds good, too. I'd like some of that. Anyways, so I think Conor got shut out of the thing. I think they just didn't let Conor in because the star of Conor is fading. He's not a great champion like John Jones or George St. Pierre. He didn't make the cut. He doesn't have a podcast that helped Trump get elected like Logan Paul did or Theo Vaughn. So he doesn't get in. I don't think Conor got in. I think he got a ride there, and they didn't let him in. Because there are no pictures, there's absolutely no photo evidence that Conor was there, and there's plenty of photo evidence that everybody else was there. Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Tony Hinchcliffe, GSP, all these guys in that world, they were all there. I didn't see Conor. Mike Tyson's dancing, Evander Holyfield. Where's Conor? Conor's not anywhere. They didn't let him in. Sorry, Conor.
Maybe he was in the bathroom again getting, like, stalled.
I hope not, man. Because, there's going to be more criminal charges up on Conor McGregor. Like, it's also not a great look, maybe, at this point. Everybody's distancing themselves from Conor McGregor. Everybody's, like, taking him off the logo. You know what I mean? Pulling the beer, everything. People are getting rid of Conor McGregor. People are, after everything that's happened recently with Conor, they're kind of shutting Conor down. Maybe it's the same thing at the inauguration. They're like, no, Mr. McGregor, you didn't make the list. I think if this were, peak Conor McGregor times, you'd be seeing pictures of Conor in there. He would have made the list. He would have been in there. You would have seen a lot of pictures of Conor in there. Conor's Instagram, nothing. Just the picture of him and the Pauls going to the thing. You don't see a single image of him in there. And you would think if he were there, he'd be posting pictures.
Everybody.
They all did. Conor's not gonna.
Like, you figure, like, honestly, Dave, you got a point there, because
I know
the picture where he should have been in was the one with Jake Paul lifting Tyson and everybody just having a good time.
Sure.
Like, I could see Conor being there and, like, jumping up, but yeah, if he's not there at that point, something is weird. I'll agree.
So there
with
you go,
something
AJ.
Doesn't seem right.
Got your wish. You wanted to talk about the inauguration. I didn't, but I let it happen, but we did it in a way that I could stomach. So there we are.
It was a good party, man. It looked like a damn good party. I would like to be there.
I would not be caught dead at that.
Oh, party. I would be there, man. Damn right, man.
Horrible.
At least it's
looks like a group of some.
What are you talking about?
The least.
Yeah, but nobody has to worry about John Jones.
You mean, man? John Jones,
man.
GSP.
I thought he's your greatest hero, man.
Gordon Ryan, Mike Tyson.
I don't want to hang.
You've got a hat of John Jones in your house.
No, I'm good. I think. Just the
Can
vibe.
I take your John Jones hat?
The vibe would not be right. I think the vibe.
Dave, give me your John Jones hat.
Those guys maybe in a room would be fun, but like not in that room. I don't think it'd be a good time.
Oh man, that room must have been swinging. Woo!
No, I can't endorse it. Sorry, guys. I'm not
Dana White, Joe Rogan. Everybody's
man.
Yeah.
What more
nice.
do you want?
Yeah, it's cool.
Evander Holyfield?
You would think that I would like to be there. You would think. You would think it's weird, right?
Vaughn,
it is weird. Believe me,
better.
it's weird for me too. It's super weird for me because all the people, Hulk Hogan, brother, Dana White, John Jones, George St. Pierre, all the coolest dudes. All the coolest dudes.
Didn't Snoop sing?
Snoop Dogg
was
it's
there.
All the coolest dudes are doing it and having a good time and partying and living it up. And I'm sitting there going, no.
I think Mr. Bean was there. I mean, come on, Dave.
Mr. Bean?
Is he alive?
Rowan Atkinson? Sir Rowan Atkinson? He's a knight,
Is he?
Is he still
Knight of what?
Is he still alive?
I don't know. Knight of the Round or whatever. Look, he was a knight. The Queen knighted him. He's a sir.
The Queen?
He's a British knight. You know what I mean?
He's still
Sir
alive.
Rowan Atkinson. Sir Rowan.
Oh, he's only
George,
70? I thought he was
George?
like
No,
70
Sean
in the
Connery.
90s. He's only 70.
Is he? That's it.
You know what's crazy? Like
he looks
I bet
70
you, like,
in
if we
Mr. Bean.
Google how old was Mr. Bean when he did Mr. Bean, he was probably like 26, but he looked about 45. You know what I mean? Like that's a good one. So what do you say? Rowan Atkinson is how old? 70? When was Mr. Bean filmed? Between 1990 and 1995. So we're talking about 35 years ago. So he was like 35.
35.
Yeah, he looked older
about
than
45
35
as Mr. Bean, didn't he?
Maybe even older.
Well, by the end of it, he was like 40, but he looked older than that. Like Mr. Bean, when he filmed Mr. Bean, was younger than all of us. That doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right. I'm older than Mr. Bean? What the hell is that? Fucking Mr. Bean.
He made a good movie, man. His movies were great, man.
That guy was good, man. You ever see The Thin Blue Line? It's another Rowan Atkinson show. Very good. I like Rowan Atkinson. He was pretty good. Hey.
Wow, look who it is. Little Freddy.
Look at that guy.
Man, is he getting big. Little Freddy. Look at that cutie.
Fred.
What's up, bud? Just sneaks in, man.
Oh, he's having a good time. Incredible
That's it.
Hulk.
Dad, I want to stay. You push Fred out and just take over the show.
I didn't even hear him come down. I had this. I went, oh, here.
He's getting
all
big.
right. Well,
it's crazy, man.
Well, let's let Fred go.
Do you
go
think
hang out with
Fred,
Alfred? You know what I mean?
But
Alfred's
but
still
Dave,
awake. Alfred should go to bed. Fred has got to go deal with.
What for, man? It's
I
probably
don't know. 9:15. Shouldn't he? It's bedtime now. Yeah. Fred's like, yeah. What the?
And this
next
house
week,
bedtime is 7:30. So
yeah, right. I was like, wow, Alfred's up late. Good for him. So next week, guys, UFC's going to Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a UFC show in the afternoon, which is nice. It's UFC in Saudi Arabia. Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. And that's the main event, which is pretty good. Then you got Shara Bullet versus Michael Venom Page in the co-main event.
That's good, man. That's a good one right there.
Sergey Pavlovich versus Jairzinho, which could be
That's
fun.
a good one.
Saeed Nurmagomedov. Another Nurmagomedov, guys, against Vinicius Oliveira and a bunch of other fights. But it's a pretty solid main card, especially Adesanya headlining. You can't go wrong with the last style.
That's a pretty good one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's going to be next Saturday afternoon, February 1st in Saudi Arabia. So it's an afternoon show, which will lead right into WWE's Royal Rumble in Indianapolis that night. So it's going to be a big, big day for the Ringside Report Network next Saturday, February 1st. So next week here on the show, we'll preview the Adesanya fight in Saudi Arabia. We'll do all that for the UFC, and then next Friday we're previewing the Royal Rumble. We'll do a Rumble post show, so it'll be a big, fun weekend in combat sports next week. This weekend for UFC, there's nothing. They're chilling.
Hey,
they got no event.
Man,
but next week it's the Saudi show, and then the week after it's UFC 312, du Plessis versus Strickland in Australia.
Listen, man, did you hear the rumor?
Right back.
Did you hear the rumor with the WWE? So it might happen next week, but some big UFC former star, man, he's making his way possibly to the WWE. He might announce it.
Who?
Usman, man. Apparently, Usman is looking to get into the WWE.
Kamaru Usman?
Yes, sir.
Or Usman?
I was surprised when
Who we talking?
No, Kamaru, man.
Oh,
which makes sense.
Well,
where is he now in the UFC? You know,
he's a little
would be a
old.
good jump.
He's a little.
I mean, there was. Yeah, but there's a lot of old wrestlers in the WWE now.
Yeah, but they've been doing it for a long time. They didn't just learn to do it at like 38.
Yeah, I know.
They learned to do it at 18.
I mean,
they've been doing it for 20 years.
I mean, with that said, he's pretty athletic. I'm sure if he wants to dedicated. Look, he's a better athlete than Logan Paul.
I don't know about that.
Oh.
Kamaru Usman has no knees. Logan Paul flies through the air. Logan Paul's body is in better shape
impressive, man.
than Kamaru Usman. And like you could say athlete, whatever, that doesn't always translate. Is Kamaru Usman a personality? Logan Paul is a personality
of course.
That's he's a proven draw, not on his athleticism, just based on who he is and his character and all of this. Kamaru isn't that. So for pro wrestling, you need more of the character than the, I'm a real fighter. Kamaru also was a welterweight, not a heavyweight. So in WWE, it doesn't really translate that well. You're not going to look huge. I mean, the guys now aren't huge, but at 170.
I mean, when they put Roman next to Alex Pereira, Roman didn't look that huge.
No, but
those numbers are inflated.
CM Punk is a top guy in WWE, and he fought 170 in the UFC. So, okay. But, Gable Steveson, who was an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, tried the WWE recently. Young guy, good shape, just won the gold medal. Didn't work. So, I wish him the best. I hope it works. I don't know if the WWE's really interested. I don't think Kamaru Usman's on Triple H's radar. I don't know why he would be. From a pro wrestling standpoint, it makes no sense. He wouldn't draw a dime in pro wrestling. Right off the bat, if they brought out Kamaru Usman, everybody would go, who? I don't think people would really care. And I like Kamaru Usman. I'm an MMA fan, and I wouldn't even really be interested in seeing him in WWE. How about that?
Me neither.
Right?
I'm not even interested talking about it. So
exactly, AJ. So sorry.
Triple H thinks differently, but I'm just saying, man.
Let's finish with some AJ hate.
Yeah, AJ.
Always good.
The Washington Nationals are garbage. I hate that hat you're wearing.
Manchester United sucks, AJ.
Yeah.
What? Where can you see the logo?
Well, I mean, go look. They're I don't think they're in the top 10. They're awful this year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And for the past many years.
The Yankees are gonna win the World Series this year.
Yeah, well, okay, wait. I'm gonna throw some Dave hate. Hey, Dave, why don't you just turn around and show your jersey to everybody?
No.
Come on, Dave, do it, man.
Why? It hurts.
Because I only wore this shirt. I don't wear this shirt out because I don't want to, because the back is no good anymore. But the front is still good, and I'm only facing the camera frontwards, so I get to have the Yankees here, and I get to show that the Yankees are the best. But I'm not going to show what's on the back of the shirt because that guy is dead to me. I don't want to talk about him, right? So we're not showing the back of the shirt. And I have not worn this shirt since he signed with the Mets. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing this anymore. It's been in my closet. I haven't worn it. I used to wear it all the time because it was awesome. But, he betrayed us and went with the lesser team. So no more. I don't wear it. I have not worn it. But I was wearing a long sleeve shirt before the show, and I was too hot. And I was like, I need a T-shirt. So I grabbed this, and I put it on, and I was like, it's cool because they won't see the back. But I think Fred saw me turn around before the show, so he knows. But I'm not going to show it, but it does say Soto. But I'm not wearing it out because it pisses me off. I'm not going to burn it because I think Soto will be fat and not productive in the Queens, and it'll be bad, and it'll be a contract that the Mets will regret, and it will be a big blow up in their face, and then eventually I'll wear the Soto shirt and it'll be all funny and fine, but that will take a couple of years at least to let it all blow up. I'm not wishing bad on Soto. I just hope that I hope he just makes his money and is not great. I don't really care. I hope it blows up in the Mets face and Soto, forgets how to hit. That's probably not what's going to happen. He's probably going to be, a Hall of Fame player and continue to be awesome, and he's great, and sucks
Put a
that he's
piece of
not with the
tape in the
Yankees
back,
anymore
Dave.
because the Yankees really need hitting. They got better defensively. They got better pitching, much better pitching. But offensively, they haven't made that one move that they needed to make. And as we get closer to spring training, it seems like they're not going to make that move. And that worries me. It worries me. I wonder who's going to hit. I think they're banking on we don't need to hit because nobody's going to be able to hit us. And if they do, our defense is going to be so good that we'll stop them, which is possible, but you got to score some runs. You got to score. And it can't just be Aaron Judge. You know? I hope Bellinger has to pan out. Goldschmidt has to pan out. Volpe has to have a good season, like a better season than he did last year, offensively and defensively. Jazz Chisholm has to really show up. He's probably going to play second base this year. We don't have a third baseman. It's like Oswaldo Cabrera and DJ LeMahieu kind of fighting for the job and maybe working a platoon third base, which sucks. You got Austin Wells behind the plate, who's pretty good defensively, but offensively, he's kind of up and down, and he needs to have a really strong season. Then we're throwing the Martian, Jason Dominguez, out in left to just be a rookie and see what happens and give him the starting job. That needs to work. Judge is in right. Bellinger's in center. I think Bellinger will be good. I think Judge will be great again. I think Goldschmidt will probably be solid. I think Jazz will have a good season. I'm not sold on Volpe yet. I want him to be the next Derek Jeter, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I hate the third base situation. The fact that we don't have a solid third baseman. We needed to sign somebody like Bregman so we could have a good bat at third base. You know, somebody who's been there, who's tested, a veteran. It would have been nice to get Bregman. It's not too late. I don't think he's signed with Toronto yet, right? Is Bregman signed? Can we just make that happen and give me comfort going into March? Fuck. These are the things that I think about every day, all day, guys. So I just had to let that out.
Feel better?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
I'm
all that
gonna go
counts,
buy
man.
Yankee tickets. I think I'm gonna go see them. Okay. Go Yankees. Go Yankees. Fucking go Yankees. God damn, I love the Yankees. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with Johnny North, 10 p.m. I'll be talking SmackDown, wrestling, all the wrestling things. Saturday night's main event coming up Saturday night with Jesse the Body Ventura, brother. We'll talk about it tomorrow here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net.